Hey, you guys, it's your girl Aquila coming straight at you from Diva-Villege. My mind, my thoughts. It seems like it's been such a long time since I've sat here and talked to you guys. It's been like forever. But anyway, before I get started, I just want to go do a birthday shout out to my niece, Brittany Joyner, and to my nephew, Devin Lucas, before we get started. So, my show today was called Depression is Real. And my guest on the show was Shaynisha Joyner, and I had a reason for choosing Shaynisha as my guest. The reason why I chose the show Depression is Real is because there's so many people that don't understand about depression. People think that just because, hey Sandy, how are you? People feel that just because they're sad, that there's always a cure to it. And in the process of doing the show, I did it with Shaynisha. The reason why I chose Shaynisha to do the show with me is because Shaynisha works in a field where she comes in contact with a lot of different people with a lot of different things going on with them. And from talking to her, hey Deidre, how are you? From talking to Shaynisha, she made me, thank you, it's good to be back. From talking to Shaynisha, she made me realize that it's a lot about depression that I don't know about. Even there's been times myself, hey Ann, how are you? There's times myself that I've also been depressed, but Shaynisha made me understand, hey Darren, how are you? Shaynisha made me, hey August, how are you? Shaynisha made me understand that there's a difference from being sad. Hey, Seth, how are you? It's so many of you guys. Hello to everybody. But I'm going to just continue on with the show because I'll be saying hello for the rest of the night. So hello to everybody. Thank you all for joining in. Now, as I was saying, there's a difference between being sad and being depressed. The reason why I say there's a difference between being sad and being depressed, as I just learned, hey August, how are you? The reason for this is because you can be sad for a few minutes and you can get over it. Depression lingers for a while. Hey Ashley, sometimes when you're depressed, it puts you in a mode where it feels like you're being choked. It feels as though you're being suffocated. This lingers on for days and days and days. Sometimes when you're depressed, you can barely get up. You can barely move. You're stuck in one particular place. I'll share an example for you with depression. And the good thing about depression, well, not a good thing, but it's good if you have a strong support system with you to help you to bring you out of it. Because depression can push you to a point. Hey, Darren, hope everything is well. Depression can push you to a point where you can commit suicide. You can kill yourself because you don't know where to turn. My time that I had experienced depression was a long time ago. I wanted to have more kids. This was like one of the biggest things. And anybody who knows me, they know that I love kids. So I wanted to have more kids. I got pregnant. And when I got pregnant, I was so excited about being pregnant. But it was something about the pregnancy that just wasn't right. You know, I couldn't have been no more than like a couple of weeks, maybe even a month. But there was a lot of pain and stuff that went along with it. So I ended up going to the hospital because my daughter was on her way out to school and she asked me to do something for her and I couldn't even get out of the bed to do what she wanted me to do. Long story short, I found out at that time that I had an ectopic pregnancy. For those who don't know what ectopic pregnancy is when you're pregnant in your tubes. Now, I wanted a baby so bad because at this time, my daughter was already 13 years old, but I wanted a kid. So by the time that I found out that I was pregnant, I found out that it was in my tubes. I went to the doctor, went to the hospital, should I say. All my family, they met me there at the hospital. By the time I realized what was going on, the pain had stopped. But I was like, okay, well, I'm fine. Let's just move on with it. And they said to me, no, we have to remove the baby. Now, for somebody, like I said, my daughter was 13 years old and I wanted a baby so bad. And the only thing that I kept saying to myself is, what's wrong with me? Why can't I have another baby? And when I tell you, it like to drove me insane for days. I would just sit there, not moving, not doing anything. My husband, he was here with me. He helped me out a lot. My cousin Cynthia, she kept calling me and calling me and calling me, telling me to snap out of it. Because you go into this dark hole, this place where you feel that nobody understands. Hey, Kathy, you feel like nobody understands what you're going through, and you feel like this is something that you're doing by yourself. So as my daughter said, if you watch the show, you want to shrink yourself out of existence because you feel that nobody understands. Now, to people who have kids, or they have a lot of kids, or they only had one kid, what I'm saying to you will mean nothing. But to somebody who don't have kids and they want to have kids, it's a big thing to get pregnant and then you lose it. And then you also lose and shorten your opportunity or your chances of becoming pregnant again. Depression, when I tell you, it's a real thing. It doesn't matter what somebody tell you, snap out of it. None of that matters to you, because the only thing that matters is what you are going through. So I just wanted to share that little bit to show that when I talk about depression, I'm not just talking about it just to talk, because it's something that I've been through. So when I spoke to Shaynisha, I was asking you guys, please share, because I want as many people to see this as possible, because I feel that a lot of people go through depression and they don't know what it is. They just think that they're sad. They don't know how to pinpoint or put their finger on what's going on so they can understand it. But depression, I'm here to tell you, is a serious thing. Before my show started tonight, a couple of people I reached out to before the show started, a couple of people, if you read on the timeline, they were sending different messages to me about depression, explaining to me how real that depression is. Depression causes suicide thoughts. Why? Because your mind is not balanced. You know what I'm saying? Your mind is not balanced. And because of this, hold on. Kathy said, I lost a baby full term, had a baby shower and all. So Kathy understands what I'm saying, because that's something too that will cause you to lose it. It's like, okay, I carried this baby for 9 months. I had a baby shower. Everything was fine. Why now? Why is it that I can't have this baby? What's going on? And like I said, a lot of people, they wouldn't understand it. What they would say is, you know what? You're just being dramatic. You're just being extra. No, when you see a person that's going through something like that, don't assume that they're just trying to get attention. Don't assume that they're just, you know, just being petty, because there's a lot involved with being depressed. A lot of people can be depressed, and some people, they can snap out of it. Some people become suicidal and they end up killing themselves behind this. But because people don't understand it, they don't take it serious. There's different things that can trigger a person to be depressed. Kathy and I were talking about losing kids and becoming depressed. You can lose a parent. You know what I'm saying? A parent is just as strong a person as a child, and you don't know how you're going to respond until you lose that parent. Sometimes people lose parents, and right behind that, they lose their mind too, because they can't deal. It's like a chemical imbalance in your mind. You want to continue to do the right thing, but at the same time, you're saying, how can I continue on without this person that was here with me for so long? People lose their fathers and they become depressed because that was the only person they had to look up to. So now you say to yourself, who do I have now? Who's going to be there for me now? Who do I look up to? And people don't understand that, because people that are there for you, those people are very important. And if you're a person, some people have low self-esteem. Some people, they don't have low self-esteem. But that one person, Pam said, is very serious not to be taken. Thank you, Pam. Pam said it's a very serious thing and not to be taken lightly, because again, people don't understand what it's all about. To lose a parent, to lose a child, and unless it happens to you, you can't understand. And people will say things to you like, well, what's wrong with you? How are you doing? Snap out of it. Take a pill. You can't take a pill for stuff like that. Sometimes you go to the doctor, and this was another thing. I hope everybody watched the show. Please share this for everybody. This is another thing. The person who I was talking to, Shaynisha Joyner, she is my daughter. And the reason why I spoke to her again is because the field of work that she's in, she understands this right here. So she said to me, she said, People think that going to a therapist is for white people. It's not a white person thing. It's anybody's thing. And the reason why she said is because when you talk to friends, you talk to family, some of them are being sincere, really wanted to sit down and listen to you. But how do you weed it out to know who's there for you and who just want to be nosy and take your business on to the next person? But if you sit down with a therapist, you have that conversation with that therapist, you open up to that therapist. When you finish, whoever that person says it to, you will never hear it again. People you know will never hear it. Why? Because they're not even going to go to a therapist. And it's supposed to be a confidential thing, so nobody should know anything about it. Hold on. Kathy said she battles depression. She said it's hereditary from her mom, through me, her sisters, and other peoples in her family. She said that it's a hereditary thing. Now, she said that different people have gone through it in her family. Now, if you watch the show, my daughter, what she said was, when you have people in families and people are depressed, people are sad, different things is going on, and you have little kids in the house and they think that this is the norm and this is what they end up being also. They're sad, they're unhappy, they can't relate. And the sad part about it, when it comes down to being depressed, there's no age limit for depressed. You think that you have to be middle-aged to be depressed? No, you could be young and be depressed. You could be depressed because you feel that you don't fit in with your peers and stuff in school. You could be depressed because everybody has something that you think that you want or think that you need, but you really don't. But now you're depressed because of how you think that people are looking at you and viewing you, and it causes you to become depressed. You don't want to go to school because you don't want people to see you. You don't want to go outside because you don't want people to see you. So you sit in your house and you mope. You try to shrink yourself. You try to find out where you belong. You try to find out where you fit in. Depression is real. You can be an older person. You can be a sick person. And because of the illness that you have, you can become depressed because maybe you can't afford the medication. Maybe you're afraid that whatever you have, there's no cure to it. You sit there and you wonder and you worry and you beat yourself in the head thinking about what's going on. And then when that depression sinks in and you're already sick, it makes you more sick, because you know what it does? It bothers with your psyche and everything that's going on, and you become worse than what you started out. Please watch the show, you guys, because there is so much more that was discussed in the show. Also in the show, I gave numbers and hotlines of people who you can talk to. If somebody tells you that they're depressed and they need to talk to you, talk to that person. Because you talking to that person can or cannot be a reason why they commit suicide or a reason why they don't commit suicide. Sometimes people just need somebody to listen to. They just want to vent. They don't necessarily want you to give your opinion. They just want to vent. They just want just to get it out. And sometimes people may be depressed. They may come to you for a conversation. The conversation may not have anything to do with what they're depressed about. But from talking to you and listening to what you're saying or talking about something totally different, it could change their mindset altogether. Kathy says, I've been suicidal up until 6 months ago. Kathy, I wish that you would have called me instead of telling me now that you were suicidal. I may not be here. I may not have been here in a dark space. I believe I'm sharing this beyond. You need to share this because someone needs to hear this. So Kathy was saying that at one point, well, up to 6 months ago, she was suicidal. I know Kathy. Kathy's my sister-in-law. I've known her for years. And Kathy has gone through a lot of different things. But Kathy, you are not alone in this fight. You know, people think that it's not a real thing. It's a real thing, but you're not in it by yourself. You have people that you can talk to, people that can listen, because sometimes all you want is just a listening ear. That's why my daughter said it's good to go to a therapist so they can sit down and have that conversation with you. Yvette Knight says, I've been working on the mental health field for 12 years, and I definitely know it's real. So this is someone else that's in the same field with my daughter. She's seen it, and she knows that it's real also. Kathy said that it's hard to reach out to people because they don't understand. And this is why we're here today trying to educate people, to let people know that depression is real. It's in your head. It's an unbalance. You can't think. You can't get your mind right. August says some people definitely may want to vent, and sometimes some people may want to turn away from you. Exactly. Sharing it. So it's good to ask if you want advice or not. August, you're 100% right. Some people, they don't want your advice. Some people, they do. But if you decide to give people advice, do not be judgmental. You know, whatever advice that you give them, just be neutral, because you don't know what those triggers are. You know what I'm saying? They're going to tell you, you know what, this is bothering me, but you're not going to know the extent to what is bothering. And then you may say something trying to help them, and whatever you say, it may trigger them to go deeper into depression. There is National Suicide Prevention lines. Here's a number for you guys, and if you watch the show, because it's there too, it's 800-273-8255. People don't take this serious because they don't understand it. Being depressed, it's hard to put it in words because you feel nobody is going to understand what you're saying. And sometimes you feel that nobody cares. You look at these young kids and stuff that go to school and they are being bullied and stuff in school. You think these kids are not, you think that they are not depressed? You think that they're killing themselves just because they're being bullied? They're killing themselves because they're depressed. They don't understand. They don't know where to turn to, and they think nobody will understand. They think nobody will care. The worst thing that you can do is feel that nobody cares and nobody understands what you're going through. It can be hereditary. It's a lot of things that go into it. I have a cousin, and I say I have, and the reason why I say I have, because she's still my cousin. She passed away some years back, and she was my age. And I had a habit of, if somebody called me, I wouldn't pick up the phone. And I realized that that's not a good thing. She called me, and I was having lunch, so I said, you know what? I'll call her back later. Later never came. You know what I'm saying to you? I don't know what it was that she wanted to tell me. I can't say she was depressed because I didn't pick up that phone. I didn't make that phone call to call her back. When people call you, if you're saying that you're there for people, be there. Don't just say you're there for them just for the sake of saying that you're there, because it means nothing. Words mean absolutely nothing. Actions speak a lot louder than words. If you can't get to that person right away, text them and say, you know what, I'm in the middle of something, but I'll call you back. Now, my cousin has been gone for a while. Like I said, I don't think she was depressed, but up until this day, I still have it in my head and wondering, I wonder what it was that she wanted to say to me. Let's say she was depressed and she wanted to talk to me. Say it was something that I could have said to her to talk her off the ledge. Not saying she committed suicide, because she didn't. Let me just put that out there, okay? What I'm saying is I still could have spoke to her. A lot of times people, all they want to do is just say, hello. I spoke to a girl the other day, and it's the weirdest thing. I've met so many people from Facebook. So you guys know the government has been shut down. You guys please share what's going on. The government has been shut down, and it has affected a lot of people in different ways. So people think that the only people that's being affected is the one that works for the federal government. So you know what? Let's break that down. The federal government is up here, but think about all the different layers that fall below. Okay, so there's people that receive public assistance. There's people that have Section 8. There's people that have Medicare. There's people that have Medicaid. There's people that don't know how they're going to get their medication. There's people that don't know how they're going to pay their bills. You think these people are depressed now? You think that this is not what's going through their mind? You think that somebody hasn't said already, oh my God, I think I just feel like killing myself because I don't know how I'm going to pay my mortgage. I don't know how I'm going to pay my rent. I don't know how I'm going to feed my kids. These are things right here that depress people and cause people just to bug out because they don't know where their next anything is going to come. But this particular person, I met her on Facebook. Her name is Stephanie. And Stephanie and I, we just became friends. But just the other day, thanks, babe, it is real. Stephanie was a federal worker that was laid off during this shutdown. And just the other day, she posted that she's going back to work on Monday. Okay, they're going back to work on Monday, but according to what I'm hearing, it's only going to be to February the 15th. But it gives them a little time, you know, to get stuff together. Stephanie is a real strong person. From the different conversations that I've had with her and the different times that I spoke to Stephanie, she's a real strong person. Stephanie said to me, Aquila, all this different stuff that everybody is saying, they don't understand. She said, I had money saved for a rainy day. She said, but how long was the rainy day supposed to last? I had my conversation with Stephanie, and Stephanie sent me a message this morning to say to me, thank you for the encouraging words. Thank you for showing me that there are still a few nice people that was out there. Now, when I reached out to her, I was just reaching out because, you know, me and her, we friends and stuff, so I was just reaching out. But it just goes to show those few little words that I said to her, it made her feel better, even though she's still in that situation. But it's like, okay, you know what? Somebody understands. And a person that's depressed, they want people to understand too. Yeah, a lot of people feel like it's not my problem, so it doesn't affect me. No, it affects everybody. Kathy says, therapy and needs help. There is a cocktail that is needed. Well, what I say about therapy, and I was wrong on therapy. I said that when you go to therapy, they ask you what's going on, and then I said, once you sit there and you tell them what's going on, they tell you what they think you want to hear, which my daughter corrected me. She said, how could you make an assumption like that when you've never seen a therapist before? You guys, please share this right here. The reason why I thought that is because I thought they sit there. Hold on. Kathy said, my faith in God is stronger than ever. It better be. And much needed for this topic. Kathy, I'm glad that I can help you. I felt that when you go to a therapy, they listen to everything you say, and then they like sort of like paraphrase it, but they paraphrase it to make it seem like, okay, well, this is what you want to hear, but that's not what it is. Sometimes, as my daughter said, you need somebody to give you just that little push, a little push to help you to come back to reality, to help you to deal with whatever is bothering you, because some people, they just don't know how to deal with it, or should I say, they don't want to deal with it. But when somebody is talking to you and they're giving you that little push, they're giving you that little nudge is having you to open up, to think more clearer and think more about yourself and the situation that's going on. When you see somebody and they're depressed, don't laugh at them. Don't take it as a joke. Take that person as serious, because you know what? You laughing at a person that's depressed could cause them to go home and do what? Kill themselves or do anything or hurt somebody else. My daughter said she, from the type of work that she does, people become depressed. They pull their hair out from the roots. They burn themselves. They cut themselves. You know, she said, this girl said that her mom's is always talking bad about her and making her feel bad. So what the child did was she went out and got piercings. She got tattoos and stuff to see if it would be worse than somebody putting her down and talking about it. We got to stop judging people. We got to stop putting people down. We got to stop thinking that everybody is looking for attention or everybody's just trying to be dramatic. We got to put ourselves in somebody else's shoes. Why I say this is because one day you could be in a good spirit and tomorrow that same thing could happen to you. You could be depressed. You could need somebody to talk to. You could want somebody just to sit down and listen to what you have to say. And again, it's not just for, it's not a white person's thing, okay? It's for anybody. If you feel that you need help, talk to somebody. You don't have to go through this and deal with this alone. I know Kathy says that she feels that nobody would understand, but the only way that you would know if somebody understands, you would have to let that person know what you're going through. You have to open up. You have to open up yourself so they can see what you're going through. When I told about me wanting to have kids, anybody that has kids or wanted to have kids, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Anybody that's lost the kids via miscarriage, ectopic pregnancy, somebody killed your kid, you know exactly the type of feeling that you go through. You want to shrink. You want to just be invisible where nobody can see you, but it doesn't work that way. So when a person is being depressed, they have to figure out a way to get back into society. They have to figure out a way that they can deal with what's going on. And the only way that they can deal with that, they first have to sit down and get a clear head via going to a therapist or just speaking to somebody who they're comfortable with. Some people say take medication. Medication with me, just again, my mind, my thought, everybody is different. Medication is not a thing for me because to me, some situations, something like this, medication is nothing but a Band-Aid. Once you take that Band-Aid off, everything that you've been depressed about is going to come back. People say, okay, I'm depressed, so I'm going to drink, I'm going to smoke weed. Okay, you're going to feel good for a minute, but once all that wears off, you right back where you were at again because it's all going to come right back. So I'm going to come to an end to this right here because this show could go on and on and on. I'm just saying that I hope that somebody got something out of it. I hope that you guys shared it. And somebody who didn't make a comment, I hope that they go back, they look at it, they read the comments and stuff that was made. Go back and look at the show on YouTube to find out exactly, you know, what it is, so you know that there is someone there for you. There is help. You don't have to deal with this by yourself. As I come to a close, I want to thank each and every one of you guys for all. This is my 5th season. Thank all of you guys for always being here, coming in Sunday nights to sit here with me. You sharing everything with me, your own concerns, your own problems and everything. You sharing it with me. You sharing it with everybody else. You opening yourself up. And I hope this is helping somebody besides me because when I listen and I read the different things that other people are going through, it makes me stop and it makes me say to myself, Aquila, you think that you have a lot of problems, but there is somebody that has something a whole lot worse than you. You're welcome, Kathy. Thank you, Sheila. Hey, Maggie, how are you? People, again, if you didn't get a chance to watch the show, it's on my page. It's probably on everybody's page on Facebook. It's on YouTube. Like I always say to everybody, all good things come to an end. But I want you, if you haven't already done it, go to YouTube, subscribe to the channel. It's on Demaka Management, DEMAKA, MEMANE Management, MANAGEMENT. Subscribe. Leave comments, good, bad, or indifferent. If it's something that you feel that I missed out on or something that I could do different, put it out there and let me know so that we can do it. There's a podcast. Download the podcast so that you can listen to it. Again, if you know somebody that's depressed or if you know someone that's having suicidal thoughts, there is a suicide hotline. The number is 800-273-8255. Again, 800-273-5255. Again, go to the page. Thank you, Yvette. Thank you, Ann. Thank you all very much for coming in. Every week, tune in. Again, at 8 o'clock, and sometimes I'll drop it before. I'll drop the video so people can watch the video before the show, before we go live at 8:30. So we go live at 8:30. People know exactly, you know, what I'm talking about. But for those of you who haven't watched it, please go back and watch it. I want to thank Shaynisha for being my guest on the show and discussing her views on, as Yvette was saying, mental health issues. Babe, Kathy said thank you also for what you've done. I thank you all. Like I always say, my mind, my thoughts. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you next week with something else. Love you guys. Thank you. Good night.